end of the West Coast Swing, and the Target Series is here in Phoenix, Arizona, in the Arizona desert for the running of the Wendy's 301. One of my favorite races in the Target Series season comes here at Phoenix. Such a great racetrack for these Target Series cars. And the one of Jeff Bright has the pole position for today's race. To his outside is the 20 of Kashawn Richardson. Then third, we have Danny Lloyd. Fourth is Paul Taylor. And rounding out the top five, it's George Cooper. Then we have Derek Hamill in sixth. Seventh place, we have Mathis Wells. Eighth is Anthony Hernandez. And ninth, it's Ryan Brommer. And Diego Yepez rounds out the top 10. For the rest of the field, there's Sebastian Kukulon. To his inside is Colton Yo. Then behind them, we have Dylan Ebrahimian with Anton Charbon in the 55. Then there's Greg Lee second in points with Jake Galloway in the 19. Then we have Samet Oskin and Max Anderson. Behind them, it's Jonathan Rains and Trip McGinnis, our Daytona winner. Then there's Levi Schoens and Jay Jefferson, along with Oliver Galloway and Code Luigi. Then we have William Seaman and Jose Mills. Then there's Luke Rainey and Nathan Ormond, along with Patrick Smith and Jennifer Buford. Then there's Ann McDowell and Mike Burrow. Behind them, it's Jason Larker and Alexander Rowe. Then there's Riley Spurley-Tube and William Bullen. Behind them, it's Steve Larker and Eli Bright, with Franz DeVice and Simon Bloomfield. And in the final row, it's Trey Rainey, our points leader. He has to come from 41st. He wants to keep that points lead. To his outside is the 39 of Greg Torres. So there's the 42-car field here for the Wendy's 300 here at Phoenix. Let's go on trackside and fire these engines up with the starting command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the field firing up here at the Phoenix International Raceway as we get ready to do battle for 30 laps around this flat 1 mile oval in the Arizona desert. One of the best Target Series races of the season happens here at Phoenix. There is a good battle for the lead most times. We will see a caution or two, some good battles throughout, and normally a good finish here at Phoenix. Track position does mean a good bit. However, you could come from the back to the front. Here it is just a little bit harder than at most tracks. For the top 11 spots, go to Junior Motorsports. Will that play into effect here during this race? Jeff Bryan, the one of Junior Motorsports drivers, on the pole for the 30-lap event, and we're green here at Phoenix. Lloyd wasting no time shoving Jeff Bright in the lead. Lloyd leads lap number one. Jeff Bright back to second. Battling to the inside is George Cooper in the 28 with a 5 of Mathis Wells behind to turn one. Up the racetrack for our race leader, Danny Lloyd. Cooper coming through in the bottom lane, side by side for a second down the backstretch. He has Mathis Wells the 5 behind him. Cooper's there on Lloyd. He enters turn 3, drives to the inside of the 21. They go side by side off turn 4. Cooper inside, Lloyd outside. That's a big characteristic of this Phoenix racetrack. The outside lane can get a good run off of 3 and 4. However, the inside lane can also fight back, stay beside the outside. Right there, you see it just worked like right there. George Cooper did not get the run off turn 4, stayed to the inside. However, Lloyd went up the racetrack 1 and 2, and the 28 through to the lead. Mathis Wells through the second and the 5. Now Wells trying to drive hard to the bottom through 3 and 4. He's there. He gets to the inside. This is one of those rare times where the inside works better than the outside, and Wells is going to lead. So Mathis Wells now out front of the 5 car. Danny Lloyd trying to get down in front of the 78. Ryan Brommer couldn't get done there. Brommer to the inside for third. George Cooper's going to clear to keep second. And now Jeff Bright trying to get down in front of his teammate Colton Yo, the 1 in the 9. Yo, however, has that bottom lane. I'm sure it's going to work for him better than the one of Jeff Bright. Brommer to the inside, going to take second away from George Cooper as they come off turn 4. Side by side, Brommer inside, Cooper outside. Wells leads in the 5. That's going to be short-lived. Here comes Ryan Brommer in the 78 to the bottom of the 5 of Wells. They come off 2 and down the backstretch. Side by side for the lead. The inside for Brommer through 3 and 4. We'll see how hard he dives it down to the bottom lane. Wells trying to get wound up on the high side. As they come off turn 4, he does get a good run on the outside of the 78. However, Brommer leads to the start-finish line. And looking 3 wide back there is the 98 Derek Hamill, putting Yo in the middle. No contact. Yo and Lloyd are rubbing off turn 2. Trying to sort out. Hamill down the bottom of the 98. Meanwhile, the 78 takes the lead. Cooper takes second. And they are 3 wide inside the top 5. Derek Hamill muscles his way through to 4th, looking for third Wells. As George Cooper goes for the lead on Ryan Brommer. 3 wide again. Into trouble out to the bottom. Colton Yo in the middle. Up top, Danny Lloyd. Great racing at the front, but this 3 wide could cause an accident if they get a little close and physical. Into Charles bottom lane. Trying to take advantage. Coming together with the 9-21. Almost wrecked right there. Charles drives it hard on Derek Hamill. Back for the lead goes the 78 of Ryan Brommer. And back there, here comes the 99 trying to take advantage. That's Paul Taylor to the bottom lane. Colton Yo is in the middle still with Lloyd up top. Oh, the 9 close with the 21. They rub the 9 trying to clear, and he does. Keeps them from crashing. Taylor's going to get by both of them. As up front, Ryan Brommer clears George Cooper. And there comes Charles Bois for second, the 55, with Paul Taylor behind him. Lloyd back in the bottom lane, the 21. Jeff Wright has not found the bottom ever since he got put up top on lap 1 by Lloyd. He's not found the bottom lane. Still fading back to the back half of the top 10. Currently scored 10th. He has a hole right there. He's going to get down front. Jake Galloway, he does right there. Galloway's up to 11th. Sebastian Kugel has bound for 12th with Code Luigi. Hernandez 14th. So some of these drivers starting to make their way forward. Drivers we've not talked about so far this race. As for the lead, Charles Bois inside, Brommer outside. 21 to go. Ryan Brommer leads into Charles Bois to turn number 1. Charles Bois is there in the 55, just trying to stop the 78. Look for where the 78's a little bit weaker and take advantage and attack. 3 and 4 is really the best place to make up time. You can really drive it hard to the bottom lane. Some of these drivers do that. Right there you see the 99. Paul Taylor does that exceptionally well. Just drove down to the bottom of the 55. Is going to take that second spot away from Anton Charles Bois. And here comes Daniel Lloyd, the 21, also trying to filter his way through. He'll be going for third. Here comes Kishan Richardson, started outside of the front row. Richardson is up to fourth in the 20, trying to get by the 55 of Anton Charles Bois. He will down the backstretch, so the 20 car inside the top 5 now up to fourth. Jeff Wright, the 1 turn to make his way back forward on the inside. Here comes Lloyd for second. Paul Taylor moves on. Ryan Brommer loving this. He's just staying up front, able to try and pull away now in the 78 car as they go double file behind. Lloyd, the 21, inside through 1 and 2. The advantage there for the 21. He's going to clear down the dog leg for second. He clears Paul Taylor. And now the 20 is Sean Richardson going for third. And look at Lloyd drive it hard to the bottom right there. Got to Ryan Brommer, and now he's on his back bumper. Nose to tail for the lead. Brommer leads Lloyd second. Side by side for thirds. Sean Richardson inside. Paul Taylor outside. Jeff Wright currently holds fifth over George Cooper. Here comes Kukla on the 4, coming forward. Up inside the top 10. Mike Burrow, Dylan Ibrahimian coming forward. And then you have a big separation. I don't know what happened there. If a car decided to hit pit road or what. Oh, the caution's out. That's why it's Colton Yo and Jake Galloway with Code Luigi. Inside the top 15, they wrecked Ryan Brommer back in front over Danny Lloyd. And then Sean Richardson third. So the winner at Phoenix last season, Code Luigi's involved Colton Yo and Jake Galloway. 3 of the big names in the Target Series involved in our first caution of the day just before the halfway point. Let's see what happened. Caution is out. Code Luigi wrecked with Yo and Galloway. These drivers are racing inside the top 15. Colton Yo, Code Luigi, and Jake Galloway all are having some solid days going. And right here into turn number 1, Luigi kind of drives it hard into the corner, trying to clear the 0, gets up into Galloway, who then sends him into the 9 of Yo. All 3 of them hit the outside wall pretty hard. Yo spins around. There's Jake Galloway and Code Luigi. Luckily, they kept themselves up against the wall, didn't come down the racetrack and into anyone else and cause anyone else to get involved. But those 3, heavy damage, and their chances at a win definitely done. They may stay on the racetrack, try and just race whatever they can. I think the 0 of Pez driving to the inside really kind of took the 42 Code Luigi and kind of set him off guard a little bit. He kind of saw that. He was like, whoa, and maybe just misjudged his corner entry speed, but definitely got up into the 19 and the 9. That's a tough pick for Luigi. He's not finished inside the top 20 so far yet this season. It's been a mediocre season. Now here at Phoenix, he didn't caught any wreck. Not how he wanted to try and rebound from these first 4 races so far this season. And for Yo and Jake Galloway, that's bummers there. Galloway is having a pretty good season going so far, and Colton Yo was looking for a good day in the 9 car. So that allows everyone to click reset and get ready for the restart. It's Ryan Brommer out front. He'll cross the halfway point as our race leader, and then we'll go back racing. Ryan Brommer is out front in the Wendy's 300 here at Phoenix. It will be a 13 lap to go restart here at Phoenix. It's Ryan Brommer, the 78, who has dominated here today. He is out in front of this race. No cars are out from that crash. All 42 are still left running. The 9 to 19, the 42 are the ones that are damaged. They'll be at the back of the field. Won't get anyone's way as of now. We'll have to see if they become issues as lap cars. As we mentioned, Ryan Brommer is dominating here today. He is our race leader here in Phoenix. Danny Lloyd, the one behind him, in second. Then Kishan Richardson started second in this race is third. Paul Taylor is fourth. Jeff Wright from the pole is fifth. Then George Cooper 6th, Anton Charlebois 7th, and 8th is Sebastian Kukulon, Mathis Wells 9th, and Derek Hamill, the final spot inside the top 10. Down to the restart zone right there, that dashed line. We're back racing here at Phoenix. Green flag back in the air, 13 to go for Ryan Brommer. He gets the jump over Danny Lloyd. Yeah, Lloyd got caught sleeping there on that jump, and right here, because Sean Richardson is all over the back of him. That's for second. The 20 a little loose right there. The 99 Paul Taylor saw that and got a good run to the bottom lane down the dogleg. Here he comes to the inside for third. Paul Taylor inside, Richardson through 3 and 4. Now inside to Danny Lloyd. Paul Taylor 2 for 1 and 3 and 4. He'll get to second. Now can he run down Ryan Farmer? He's pulled a nice gap since that restart as the 21 was caught sleeping there. Richardson middle lane. George Cooper coming to the bottom 3 wide. Inside the top 5, the 28 takes it 3 wide. Down low. That's for third. Jeff right behind it. Kukulana in the 4 coming forward. Here comes Paul Taylor for the lead. A big run through 3 and 4. Gets to the inside the 78. He's there off turn 4. Ryan Brommer trying to clear back up top. Paul Taylor inside. Turn 1, he's still there. And the 3 wide behind Richardson slides up in front of Danny Lloyd. As for the lead, they're still side by side down the dog leg. Taylor inside. Paul Taylor, I think, is going to have this through 3 and 4 right there. He's going to do a slide job, try and slide in front of that 78. Brommer fights back on the outside, but it's Paul Taylor to the lead here at Phoenix with 10 to go. Cooper's up to second. Richardson up to third. Or excuse me, Cooper's up to third. Richardson is up to fourth. Sebastian Kukulon to the top 5 in the 4 car. Lloyd back to 6th. Jeff Wright still there at 7th. And then a log jam behind about 8th to 12th. We'll see if Brommer can get back in line and run the 99 down like Paul Taylor did. Using that lane through 3 and 4. There may have been contact for third. Richardson drove to the inside. George Cooper may have given him a bump off the racetrack. And Richardson grabs third at the start-finish line. 20 car still back in this thing. Last season in both the Target Series Phoenix races, we saw late battles in the race. In the first race, we saw a close 3 wide finish. It was about 3 wide. And then the second race, we saw a duel between Trey Rainey and Cole Luigi, which ended under caution. It would have definitely been close had it gone green. And now Ryan Brommer inside of Paul Taylor with Sean Richardson third and a hard-charging Sebastian Kukulon up to 4th. And Mike Burr also hard-charging. He's just past Danny Lloyd to get to 6th space. And they may have wrecked again because the pack, yes, there's a caution. And it's Mathis Wells from the top 10. And we have a ton of cars that are torn up. Second caution flag of the day, and it's for a big crash. And this will change everything. We will have a late restart under 5 to go. And our race leaders, once again, Ryan Brommer. Caution out with 7 to go. We're going to have about 3 laps to go on the restart. Caution is out. Mathis Wells from 8th position is now done for the day. Ton of cars wrecked here at Phoenix. Let's see the reason for caution flag number 2. Here's Mathis Wells through 1 and 2. Jeff Wright got away from the crash, so I have to wonder what happened to Wells here on the inside as he comes up. Oh, he had an issue, slowed, and Hamill runs into the back of him. Just nothing Hamill could do there. The 5 impacts the outside wall. Yepez comes in. There goes the 22 Adam McDowell. There's the 23 up off the ground. He goes upside down. There's Rains, Patrick Smith, Levi Shones. Some pretty hard hits here in this crash. And Wells, an apparent issues with that 5 car. And the middle of 1 and 2 is Max Harrison takes a tumble. Right here, yeah, the 5 just had an issue and Hamill nowhere to go. Runs into the back of him. Cars are out of control. And then Adam McDowell up ahead. Eli Bright, Yepez. The 23 goes up and over. But there are about 5-10 cars that are torn up because of this crash, and it will set up a restart with about 3 laps to go here at Phoenix to win the Wendy's 300. And a hard crash. McDowell goes spinning. See all the cars involved. Pez, I believe Luke Rainey may have gotten some damage. We saw Eli Bright. We saw Jonathan Rains there. Pez. There's Simon Bloomfield. Alexander Rowe. The 40 William Bowen. There's Eli Bright. There's Luke going to the pits. A lot of cars torn up in this one. And now we have a late caution flag and a late restart. Our race leaders, once again, Ryan Brommer. He's dominated this race, but he has Paul Taylor, who made the move on him last run. Who will win the Wendy's 300? Will be Ryan Brommer, who dominated, or can someone else steal the glory from that 78? Coming back here with 3 to go, so we know lap traffic will be no issue for these race leaders. We will go 3 laps to the end. And whoever gets back to the start-finish line first is our race winner. From that crash, William Bowen is out along with Alexander Rowe, Eli Bright, Max Anderson, Jonathan Rains, Diego Lopez, and Cole Luigi. 35 cars on the racetrack and 33 on the lead lap to settle this thing. Ryan Brommer out front, 3 to go. He's dominating. Can he hold on over Paul Taylor in second? Kashan Rich in third. Look out for Sebastian Kukla on fourth. He was flying before this caution flag. George Cooper fifth. Then Mike Burrow, Danny Lloyd, Jeff Bright, Anthony Hernandez, and Dylan Everyman the front 10. To the restart zone for Ryan Brommer. We're back racing, and Paul Taylor stays with him on the restart. That was a good jump for Paul Taylor. He stayed with him. Now can he make the move? Kashan Richardson waiting in third. Kukulon fades a little in fourth. Richardson to the inside for second. Remember, he started P2. And Kukulon forced high by George Cooper. Here comes the 20. He's going to dive it down to the bottom at 3 and 4. He's there inside Ryan Brommer. Side by side for the lead down the front stretch. 78 Ryan Brommer leads up top with 2 to go. But Richardson the inside lane. Kukulon the force fighting back. Yeah, don't come out even though he's fifth. He can still come forward. They're still side by side for the lead. Paul Taylor a little loose off the corner to lift and lost some ground. The white flag will wave this time by. Kashan Richardson to the lead. Ryan Brommer on the high side is going to get clear for a second. He still has a shot to run the 20 down and pass him. White flag and the Wendy 300 last lap for Kashan Richardson. But Ryan Brommer's the one in second. He's dominated this race. Can he get to that 20? I think he's too far back as he comes down the backstretch. The 20 has pulled a nice gap. It would take a miracle of Ryan Brommer to even have a shot through 3 and 4. He's going to try it. Brommer dives to the inside of the 20 of Richardson. As they come off turn 4, the 20 at the racetrack, the 78 to the inside. From second position, Richardson wins the Wendy's 300 here at Phoenix. And did Ryan Brommer try or what? He tried to drive to the inside, but was too far back to make it stick. And it's Kashan Richardson winning the Wendy's 300 here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Let's go see the finish results of this Phoenix race. Here are the finish results from the Wendy's 300 at the Phoenix International Raceway. 2 caution flags for 8 laps and 7 lead changes among 6 different drivers, as it was Kashan Richardson stealing Ryan Brommer's glory. Brommer 20 of the 30 laps led. He led 66% of this race, but ends up second as Richardson steals it on the final restart. Paul Taylor in third. Then Kukulon fought his way up to 4th, and George Cooper in 5th. Then Jeff Bright ends up 6th from the pole. Didn't even lead lap here today. Danny Lloyd in 7th, Dylan Ebrahimi in 8th, William Seaman 9th, and Micah Burrow rounds out the top 10. So we look at the top 20. It's a good mix at the front between drivers who started towards the back, towards the middle of the field, and drivers who started towards the front. Obviously, drivers inside the top 10. I mean, we had a lot of them that started inside the top 10. 6 of the top 10 finishers started inside the top 10. But then you had drivers like William Seaman came from 26th up to 9th. Mike Burrow came from 31st up to 10th. So these drivers did make up a lot of ground throughout the race, depending on where they started. And good to see Trent McGinnis with a good finish after Daytona. It's been nothing but bad luck for that for that 0-1. So I'd see Trent McGinnis inside the top 15, a decent day for him. And Trey Rainey, after starting in the 41st position, he does fight his way up to 21st, and it isn't enough to keep him in the points lead barely over Greg Lee, who finished a few spots ahead of him. Lee is now within a few points of Trey for that points lead. 32 cars on the lead lap at the end. You saw Jay Jefferson, Matthews, well, Simon Bloomfield all a lap down, and Code Luigi on down. Cars retired from accidents here today in Phoenix. Let's now go see the point standings. Here are the point standings at the end of the West Coast swing. No drivers finished top 10 every race. Greg Lee just snapped that here today. But it's Trey Rainey still on top of the points by 2 over Greg Lee, who is second. So it's a very close points. And then Dylan Ebrahimian's up to third. He's only 9 points back. Ryan Brommer, a good day, is up to 4th. And Jake Galloway is 5th. They have Simon Bloomfield 6th. Kashan Richardson, that win, is up to 7th. Franz Device is 8th with his victory. Paul Taylor in 9th. And Jose Mills rounds up the top 10. Looking at the top 20, Steve Larker's Roval win, 15th in points. He's one of the wild cards, along with George Cooper, who's just outside of the top 10. In the points, Trip McGinnis going to try and fight his way back up inside the top 20 points to try and get into the chase as a wild card spot. Who knows, maybe even get into the top 10 points. We're still early on in the season. We just finished the West Coast swing. Only 5 races in the books. All 5 have been won by different drivers so far this season. Jeff Bright, good days, up to 21st in points. Eli Bright's down to 22nd. There's McGinnis up to 23rd. Spurley Tube, and then some of these drivers down here have had miserable seasons so far. A lot of these drivers not scoring top 10s so far this season, and that's why they're down here. They've just been inconsistent throughout the season. And drivers like Derek Hamill, Pez down here, Cole Luigi, Jennifer Buford, and McDowell. I mean, Jeff Buford and McDowell, those are 2 Target Series champions, and they've just not been able to go anywhere. In fact, that's the last 3 Target Series championships right there. Jennifer Buford and McDowell. Buford won it back in season 5, McDowell the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, big names down here. Jay Jefferson, Mathis Wells is down here. You have Levi Shones down here, Max Anderson, Gary Cup Series champion down here. So it'd be interesting to see if some of these drivers can fight their way forward in the point standings in a spot to try and make the chase for the season. As we head to a short track here in the Target Series, we go to the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Food City 300. I will see you guys then.